Welcome, everyone. Today, we are going to learn one of the most famous and aggressive openings in chess, the Ruy Lopez martial attack. This opening has been played by many of the greatest players in chess history, including world champions and elite grandmasters. Players like Magnus Carlsen, Garry Kasparov, Viswanathan Anand, Fabiano Caruana, and many others have used the Ruy Lopez because it creates deep strategic battles with both attacking and defensive ideas. The Ruy Lopez is not just about memorizing moves. Every move has a purpose: controlling the center, developing pieces, creating pressure, and preparing attacks. In this series, we will understand why each move is played. Let's begin. E4, white starts by taking control of the center. This move opens the diagonal for the bishop and queen, giving white faster development. The idea is to gain space and create opportunities for future attacks. E5, black responds by fighting for the same central squares. Instead of allowing white complete control, black creates a balanced position and also opens lines for the bishop and queen. Knight F3. White develops the knight toward the center and immediately attacks the E5 pawn. This move follows a basic opening principle: develop pieces quickly while creating threats. Knight C6, black protects the E5 pawn and develops a piece at the same time. The knight controls important central squares and prepares black for further development. Bishop B5. This is the famous Ruy Lopez move. White does not capture the knight because the goal is not only material, the goal is long-term pressure. The bishop pins the knight and increases pressure on black's center. A6, black attacks the bishop and asks it to make a decision. This move also prepares queenside expansion and gains some useful space. Bishop A4, white keeps the bishop instead of exchanging it. The bishop remains active and continues putting pressure on black's position. In the Ruy Lopez, keeping this bishop is often very valuable. Knight F6, black develops another piece and attacks the E4 pawn. This move increases pressure in the center and prepares black to castle quickly. Castle kingside, white moves the king to safety and activates the rook. Castling is important because the king becomes safer and the rook immediately becomes more useful. Bishop E7. Black develops the bishop, removes the pin on the knight, and prepares to castle. Black chooses solid development instead of making unnecessary moves. Rook E1, white places the rook on the E-file. The main idea is to support the E4 pawn and increase pressure against black's center. The rook is also ready to become active if the center opens. B5. Black attacks the bishop and gains space on the queen side. This move is a typical Ruy Lopez idea. Black is not only chasing the bishop, but also preparing to control more territory and create counterplay. Bishop B3, white retreats the bishop to a safer square. Even though the bishop moves backward, it remains very important because it controls the diagonal toward the king side and can become a powerful attacking piece later. Castle kingside, black completes king safety. Now the king is protected and the rooks become connected. Black is ready to start the next phase of the opening. C3, white prepares the central break with D4. The idea is to build a strong pawn center and challenge black's control of the middle. This move also gives the bishop a safe retreat if needed. D5. This is the key move of the martial attack. Black does not wait for white to build a perfect center. Instead, black immediately attacks the center and sacrifices a pawn to gain activity. The idea behind this sacrifice is open lines for the pieces, develop quickly, create pressure against white's king, gain attacking chances instead of fighting for material. This is why the martial attack is considered one of the most dangerous attacking systems in chess. E takes D5, white accepts the pawn sacrifice. White believes that extra material can become an advantage if black's attack can be stopped. Knight takes D5, black immediately recaptures with the knight. This is not just about winning the pawn back, it develops a piece and keeps the initiative. Knight takes E5, white takes another pawn. This move shows white's idea: accept the danger and try to survive with extra material. Knight takes E5, black captures the knight. Black removes an important defender and continues development with attacking intentions. Rook takes E5, white captures the knight with the rook. At this moment, white has one extra material, but the rook on E5 is placed in an active yet vulnerable position. Black's plan is to gain time by attacking this rook while developing the remaining pieces. C6. Black attacks the rook and gains control of the center. This move forces white to spend a tempo with the rook while black improves the position. Black is not trying to win material immediately. The goal is to build a strong attack. d4, white pushes the d-pawn and strengthens the center. White wants to open lines for the pieces and prove that the extra pawn advantage is more important than black's attacking chances. Bishop d6. Black develops the bishop with tempo. The bishop attacks the rook and joins the attack toward the king side. In the martial attack, every move is about gaining activity and keeping pressure. Rook e1. White retreats the rook back to safety. The rook stays active on the e-file and continues supporting white's position. White's main challenge is to defend accurately against black's initiative. Queen h4. Black brings the queen into the attack. This is one of the most famous ideas in the martial attack. The queen moves toward the king side, creating threats against the white king and especially the h2 square. Black's compensation for the sacrificed pawn is now clear. Active pieces, open lines, strong attacking chances, pressure against the king g3. White challenges the queen and creates a defensive barrier around the king. This move also controls important attacking squares and tries to reduce black's pressure. Queen h3. Black keeps the queen deep in white's position. The queen on h3 creates dangerous threats and works together with the bishop and rook for a possible kingside attack. Bishop e3. White develops the bishop and improves the defense. The bishop helps protect important squares and connects white's pieces. Bishop g4. Black develops the bishop with a clear attacking purpose. The bishop becomes active on the diagonal and adds more pressure around white's king. In the martial attack, black's pieces are placed aggressively because the sacrificed pawn is compensated by activity. Queen d3. White brings the queen to a more active square. The queen helps defend the king side, supports the bishop, and keeps an eye on black's attacking pieces. White's plan is to survive the attack and use the extra material later. Rook ae8. Black places the rook on the e-file. The idea is to increase pressure against white's king and central pieces. Both rooks become active, creating a strong attacking setup. Knight d2. White develops the final minor piece. The knight helps defend important squares and prepares to improve white's coordination. White's position is under pressure, so accurate defense is very important. Rook e6. Black plays a famous martial attack idea, the rook lift. Instead of keeping the rook on the back rank, black brings it toward the king side to join the attack. This shows the power of black's initiative. a4. White creates counterplay on the queen side. Since black is attacking the king, white tries to open another area of the board and stop black from attacking without any problems. Queen h5. Black continues the attack by moving the queen back to h5. The queen keeps pressure on the king side and maintains threats against white's king. This position shows the main idea of the martial attack. Black gives a pawn for powerful activity, while white tries to defend and use the extra material. Conclusion. The Ruy Lopez martial attack is a perfect example of the battle between material and initiative. White has extra material, but black has active pieces and dangerous attacking chances. This is why the opening remains popular among grandmasters. It is not only about memorizing moves, it is about understanding the ideas behind every move. Thank you for watching, and in the next video, we can explore the deeper theory